About a week ago, the Spring 2020 Collab released with over 80 new maps, 40 new soundtracks, and 5 different difficulties. That's a lot of content, so in case you don't have time to get through it all, here are the top 10 maps you must play. And for the sake of accessibility, I've left Grandmaster maps out of consideration, with one exception. These are in no particular order, so let's just start off with Desolation Spire by Bissy. This map introduces a new mechanic. You can gain your jumps back while you're in midair. The way you can chain together jumps and dashes is actually really cool, and the new mechanic actually lends itself to learning new movement techs as well, but I'll let you figure those out on your own. But the real appeal here is this room at the end where you can collect as many jumps as you want. So let's just get as many of those as we can hold and kind of traverse our way around the map. Maybe pick up a strawberry real easy. Okay, but enough fooling around. Let's get the heart and move on to the next one. Temple of the Kevins by I Am Dadbod. So, if you haven't guessed it already, it mostly made the list because of the music and the theme. I mean, just listen to that. They've just gone and taken all the Kevin sounds, tuned them a bit and made it into a song. It's great, it's wonderful to just play through a level and hear this the entire time. To be honest, the level itself is pretty easy. You're just bonking on Kevins the entire way through, but once you get to the end, you talk to the great Kevin. He tells you about a crystal, you free them, and he also tells you that there might be another Kevin map in this collab, so look out for that one. Next up, we got Water and Ice by Proxys. This level introduces these floating water blocks that you can dash in and out of, as well as blocks that have water and spikes in that you can jump on top of. It also uses core-like switches to change from ice to, you guessed it, water. It uses lava as this theme that kind of ties it all together, as if it's the lava that's actually turning the ice back into water and changing the map, so that's interesting. What's really good is at the end, even if you don't meet the skill requirement to gain massive amounts of speed through chained ultras, you can still hyper through these water blocks and gain massive amounts of momentum to surpass a long floor of spikes. I really recommend experiencing it for yourself. Fourth on the list, we have Flooded Waterways by Bissy. Again, I swear I'm not playing favorites. Bissy just makes really good maps. And I also now have to convince you that, yeah, there is a good water map in a platformer. But it's not just a water level. Half of it, you're not even underwater. It uses all of the underwater sprites that didn't really make sense in Farewell. And most of all, it uses these switches which turns the water on and off, which can leave you hanging in mid-air for some portions and in mid-water for others while you're getting pushed and pulled by these bubbles. It's really interesting to kind of react to that in the moment, and I'm just as surprised myself that I put a water level in a top 10 video. Moving on, we've got Above Celeste's Peak by Sleepy. Above Celeste's Peak has complex rooms without being too difficult. So while you might not be able to figure it out by looking at the binoculars, if you just go for it, you let your instincts take over, it's a really good ride. But now's a good time to mention that no map is perfect. For instance, trying to grab this strawberry, if you happen to dash off to the left because maybe you think that's where you're supposed to go, when you respawn you can't dash anymore. It's the first big glitch I've kind of found in the collab. And the only way to fix it I've found was to restart from the beginning of the level. Not too game-breaking, but I do hope they fix that sometime in the near future. The real star here was this room at the end where you're traversing up this huge column, just going back and forth, left and right until you make it to the top. You fall all the way back down, see everything that you climbed up, take the bubble all the way back up, and it's just like it gives you this really good sense of achievement. you get to look at the level that you just beat and kind of be proud of yourself in that moment. I think it's really well designed. Next, we've got Newm by Neocat. I've been told this one's a fan favorite, and after playing it, I can see why. Now, it is definitely one of the harder advanced levels, and as such, even I had to learn some new techs in order to get through it. But though that might take a while, I absolutely say it's worth it just because of the amount of momentum you build up. If you play this game, you know that speed feels good, right? I don't need to explain that to you. This map gives you speed, that's all you really need to know. It's also got a great soundtrack, which helps keep you sane while you learn the new techs and try to perfect the movement, but once you get it down, it feels so smooth and buttery, it's good. It's just good. That's all I gotta say. Ferocious Sanctuary by I Am Dadbod. Sometimes in order to make a map difficult, map makers will just throw everything out there. They just want you to employ every kind of movement tech, use every asset available to them in map making in order to make a complex, convoluted map for you to play to try and make it more difficult. But you don't have to do that. This one makes it simple. Bubble techs and neutral jumping. That's it. That's what this map specializes in. It does it really well. Sure, it employs reversals and supers. It makes it really simple, and sometimes simple is best. And it can still be a challenging map. That's what I love about this one. New Jank City by the Gur90. Sometimes you just gotta add in one thing. In this case, it's these new blocks. I'm gonna call them trampoline blocks because all you gotta do is you dash into them and then they bounce you back out the other way. It feels like a block that could be in the main game. They're a little finicky sometimes, but when you get it right, it feels good. It feels like it belonged there all this time. The music's kind of funky too, so I'm digging that. One complaint though, something that I've seen multiple map makers do as well, is putting in those double crystals and then not having those double crystals refill. So maybe sometimes you grab the crystal, you try to dash into the block, but you don't get it quite right. So you could just jump back up to the double crystal and refill, but they don't even give you that chance. They just say, no, it's time to retry. Go kill yourself and do it again. It's a really minor thing, but I feel like it needs to be stated. Starlit Grotto by Bissy. I'm sorry, every other map maker. I couldn't leave this one out. These were 200 IQ rooms. The movement of the fish, the zipper platforms, the spring, the timing of it all is perfect. And I don't really want to spoil it for you by showing how it's done. So I asked my friend, a known illustrator in the Blind Ori 2 run, to paint it out for us and explain all the complex moving parts. And this is what he gave me.
Jump and activate spring block, jump fish A, putting it to position 2, jump fish B, putting it to position 2, unlock door, activate spring block, jump fish B to position 3, activate 2 more spring blocks, explode fish B, then fish C, wall jump, explode fish A, wall jump, done.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Last one. You might have guessed it, Ultra Difficult by Bob Dole. If you don't already know it, this is considered to be the most difficult map in the Spring Collab. I couldn't leave this one out. Now there are tons of fancy movement techs that go into even just completing this level, but there's only one reason it's on this list, and that's because of the very last movement tech that you have to do, where you gain enough speed to lag the game so that you can go through spikes and get into the final room. I mean, that's like breaking the sound barrier. We're moving past the speed of light. You're breaking the game, and it's what you're supposed to do. And if you have the ability or the drive to learn those skills, please try out this map. And just a few honorable mentions to finish off here. Serene Skydive is simple and it's relaxing. If you need to get away from mechanics, movement, techs, puzzle-like rooms, go for that one. Space Jam Fever Dream for teaching me that I could turn in Dream Blocks, Chill Out Mountain because it's got the best music, just give that a little listen. Feels really familiar for some reason. Dreamy Bluffs for showing me this jelly feather movement. Madalena Jones in the Temple of Zoom for best name and theme, and Overgrown City for showing me that you could use blocks as a timer to get through a level. And before you go, I got one more treat for you. Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place. Singing, we will rock you. We will rock you.